our next poet is from India and the United States, Menka Shivdasani. Menka Shivdasani, a Mumbai-based poet, is the author of 5 poetry collections. She has edited anthologies for Sparrow and for the American e-zine bigbridge.org. Menka is co-translator of an anthology of Sindhi partition poetry. In September 2024, she launched 2 new books, The 7 Queens, Sindhi Folktales Retold in English Verse, and the Big Bridge Book of Contemporary Indian Poetry, her tribute to Michael Rothenberg. Menka is co-chair of the Asia Pacific Writers and Translators. In 1986, she co-founded the Poetry Circle in Mumbai, and she has organized 100 TPC events every year since 2011. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and especially because this is the first time in 13 years that I have been unable to organize an event for 100,000 Poets for Change. So it's really special that I can participate in this one. So I wanted to begin by sharing something that Michael Rothenberg wrote in his foreword to the Big Bridge Book of Contemporary Indian Poetry. This is the book. It has just been published, and it takes off from 2 online anthologies I did for Big Bridge in 2013 and 2015. Michael was very excited about a print edition of this book, and unfortunately, I could not make it happen in his lifetime. But he did write this forward in 2018, and this is what he said. He said, I have always believed that poets live in creative bubbles, isolated communities of art that need to be nurtured by discoveries outside the bubble. I close quote. So for me personally, 100 TPC has helped to break this bubble. And events like the one that's been organized today will definitely create memories for a lifetime. I'm also thinking of Keki Daruwala, one of our foremost poets from India, who just passed away a couple of days ago. We are all still reeling from that shock. So Keki once pointed out at a conference, and I quote, poetry should not become only a political instrument, even if you are fighting for a cause. There must be fire in the language and music in the words. I'll now move on to my own reading. So I'll begin with 2 short verses from a book called Love is the Only Finality. These are dohiras by Sachal Sarmast, who is a Sufi poet born in 1739. And this book is something that I worked on with Mohan Gehani. It's going to come out very soon. The Sahitya Academy is going to publish it, our National Academy of Letters. And it'll be released any day now. Mohan Gehani is a senior Sindhi scholar, and I worked with him on these translations. It's a bilingual book. And I think Sachal's message is very important for our times. So here's the first verse. Feel Ram and Rahim as one. Enjoy the happiness of love. Distinctions between believers and non-believers are futile. Reject that sense of otherness. All mankind is his manifestation. I and you are the same, Sachu, when you know thyself. And the second short verse, and I think this is really, really important for our divisive times, our chaotic and divisive times. Religions have confused the world. Holy men, wise old men, and religious leaders have brought utter confusion. Some bow and pray, some stay at temples. They never came, Sachu, the wise ones, towards love. And these are poems written originally in Sindhi. They've been translated into English. It's a bilingual book that will be out probably in a couple of weeks. I will now move on to my own poems. I did time this, so I hope I stay within my 6 minutes. When I had COVID, I started thinking of all the vulnerable beings that needed to be nurtured and how we needed to nurture each other, and that includes the earth. So I wrote this poem, Survivors. I take this earth in the palms of my hand, feel the flutter of its wing, the warmth of touch. I must let it go, but there is still healing to be done. That slight tear in the feather, the broken spine. Perhaps it can stay a little longer. Bird song between my fingers, cool breeze and warm skies upon the tongue. I feel its silent gasps upon my skin, seeking the oxygen that has gone elsewhere. And I know there are black holes that bide their time in the distance. Earthbird, I will let you go to seek your kind and heal in the nest when I can do no more. But give me strength as I hope to give you yours. Treat my hand like a bowl of grain, drink the nectar of my blood. I know your journeys lie elsewhere, but stay a while and let me taste the skies upon your tongue just once before the ash arrives and settles in. I thought that would be the last poem I would ever write, but I'm here. And I'll read one more poem called Confluence, which is a poem about, it's an anniversary poem, really. It's about finding peace after all the chaos and confusion of one's earlier years. At the point where the Gomti and Saryu meet, every stone is a tribute, every ripple a new breath. The roaring rivers have journeyed down the mountain, carving rigid landscapes, navigating the waterfalls, seeking their spaces in crevices of rock. Now they curve gentle into each other's sides, sharing stories that no one else can know, mingling memories of silver oak and pine. Who can tell where one begins? Who can tell where it flows into the other? As the decades have streamed by, we have changed our course and yet remained together, smoothing the rough edges of boulders on this riverbed, meandering along the shoreline, shifting the soil. Tributaries have flowed in, distributaries disappeared. But we have gone on, inseparable between the banks. Someday in a far off land, when rain dries midair as the sun burns too bright, we will leave our memories in pebbles on the sand. And though selfie taking crowds may step on them, it will not matter, for we have left our mark, bringing forests to life, feeling our breath in the breeze. We have moved mountains, though the secret is ours, and no one else will know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. Our next poet is Sophia Hayyat from Pakistan. She's an academic, a short story writer, and a poet. Born and raised in Lahore, she earned her degrees from the University of the Punjab and Kinnaird College. Besides, she has secured multiple certificates in creative writing from Wesleyan University, LUMS, and Ajoka. She's a lecturer in English and teaches literature and the art of creative writing. Shattered Echoes is her debut collection of stories published in 2024. Her poetry and short stories have appeared in various literary forums, including Ink, Sweat, and Tears and Ajoka. Welcome and thank you for being with us today.
Read this poem. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to recite my poem. The poem I'm gonna read is I don't know what goes on in Gaza. I don't know what goes on in Gaza. Don't wanna know. Don't you dare sensitize me. I've got my own mess to deal with, my own bills to pay, my own house to mend. You know, inflation and all, you know how worse it was this time. I almost lost my job and it's not easy. Oh, my phone rings. I got a message. Is it from the change alert? Oh no. Hospital bombed, hundreds killed in Gaza. Who bombs the hospital? Where do the injured go if the hospitals would be bombed? I don't know. Oh, yes, I don't know what goes on in Gaza. I've got my own mess to deal with, elusive elections to hold on to, my own democracy to set in. Maybe some new leader to test and old ones to dumb. Oh no, the bell again. Only if I could dumb it too. But wait, here's a list with brand names, Red Cross marked on them. Big bold text goes like banned. But anyways, I don't know what goes on in Gaza. I don't want to know. I've got my own mess to tend to, my naughty kids to tend. When I dine out again, imagine in these times incorrigibleness. You know, my 8-year-old comes to me and he says he doesn't want to eat burger and a Coke. But that's your favorite. I almost cry. He says it has a blood on it. Thought I fumbled the what? And he shows me on his phone a big size yellow W inverted. Blood dribbles on the burger and Coke oozes blood. And I repeat, what else if not Coke? He says Sprite, Fanta, Mountain Dew, catching no from my looks. Yes, Mommy, what were the rest doing when they were busy producing them? Nasty, incorrigible, spoiled brats. I tell you, these kids of Gen Alpha. Oh, my phone rings again. Colleague, could be official thing. So she sends me a video. A girl named Zaina Azam recites a poem. Write my name. If to help identify children in Gaza. If and when they are killed. Children killed in Gaza. They say thousands have been killed so far. Were they being nasty, incorrigible, spoiled brats? Reminding myself I don't want to know. I click the back arrow. It shows the DP, a tiny hand painted in henna with a white bracelet. It's a cute little hand. I click again for distraction. It enlarges. Oh my. No, 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 no. It's not henna, but stains. Bandages the white pearl bracelet. Lying there, just the hand. Size of my palm with open fingers, resting in peace. I don't need sensitizing them. They do. Um, if you allow, I want to read one more poem. It's about some people that are like old trees. They grow tall and then spread wide, their branches expanding outward, forming a canopy round and full. The greater the reach, the broader the shape, an umbrella cast upon earth. Their roots grow inward and then outward like flowing hair, dangling down until they brush the ground. Grow stout and sturdy, bending toward the soil, dangling past the confines of their roots. But there are others too. They grow tall and straight, reaching skyward like eucalyptus or bamboo, slender and aloof, disconnected, solitary, no branches to sway into cliche, the dangling roots, the shade, and the old people. Thank you so much.
Okay, our next poet is also from Pakistan, Izza Mustafa, who is an English major at Air University in Islamabad and a literature enthusiast. Poetry and writing are her greatest passions, serving both as a personal journey and a means of connecting with broader human truths. Earlier this month, She published a selection of poems in the anthology Eden's Cry under TWS Publications. Her work considers the origins of existence, time, and human experience, particularly womanhood and its inherent grief. And more of her writing is available on her Instagram, which is in the chat, and at Phantom from Saturn. Thank you for being with us today.
Greetings, everyone. Am I audible to all of you? Okay. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. It is an honor to be a part of this event. It's my first time, so I'm incredibly thankful and also very, very excited to recite an original poem for you guys today. The poem that I will recite is titled Death Be Kind. For context, I wrote this poem 2 months into the university atmosphere, which was a time in my life where I was coming to terms with a multitude of truths in possibly not the nicest of manners. And so this poem, it echoes themes of vulnerability and the crippling feeling of growing up and the horror of adulthood. And in essence, it just reverberates a fear of growing old. But I think that it also very accurately conveys the sentiments of the people of Gaza and Palestine. So let's begin with the poem itself. The title of the poem is Death Be Kind. And the poem reads something like this. The flowers that were once abloom lay withered and wilted in their beds, covered in frost, sinking under its weight, with the roots beneath rotting and dead. Mercilessly the frost continues to invade what once was an alluring estate, filled with the warmth of thoughts ablaze. Now only cold ashes take up the space. No rhythm, only a colossal disarray of pages half burnt, half smeared in ink, maddening revelations inscribed on them, evidence of man's greed for knowledge. Sustenance does follow, though it is always late. The damage is done by the time it arrives. Leaning against the doorframe, there is the committer of the crime, face painted with a sickening smile, witnessing the ruins, he says, things wither with time. Oh, how cruel is the human mind, a ghost haunting this decrepit shrine, nudging you forth to meet your demise. Death will come, but will it be kind? Will it be slow and torturing like life? Will it ever be here in time? Will it give back what once was mine? Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Is our next poet here, Maham Fatima?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
here.
great. Glad that you're here. Thank you for being part of our event. And
Thank
Maham Fatima from Pakistan is a poet by night and an educator by daylight. We're looking forward to hearing your poems.
Hello, everybody. Firstly, I'd like to say that I'm very happy to share the same screen space as my professor, Dr. Wasim Anwar, who actually was the one who introduced me to this beautiful platform of poetry. And also a major thanks to Dr. Wakas Khwaja for inviting me yet again this year. And my first poem is called Let It Go, which I wrote when I was in a dark place in my life. I've basically juxtaposed my fears and traumas with a ghost that appears to me every now and then until I decide to let go of all my fears and apprehensions. So, this is a sort of awakening that I experienced, and I put it together in the form of poetry for everyone else to hear. So, the title of this poem is called Let It Go. I saw it lurking in the darkness, an indomitable phantom, a most arcane creature, utterly disheveled yet oddly familiar, visage marred with unbridled carnality, compelling me to avert my eyes. As it approached me, my pulse leapt into my throat and my heart skittered to a stop. Its unrelenting and vile gaze arrested the breath from my lungs until I found myself grappling for air. Who are you? I heard myself inquiring amidst gasps. A vicious chuckle reverberated, freezing the cold in my veins to ice. I am the one, it uttered in its eerie timbre. I'm all your harrowing memories, the architect of your torment. I'm the past you hold so dearly. I am your unpropitious present, your dull and dismal future. Its menacing laugh filled the air. Let me go, was all I could muster. Only if you let me go. Its sardonic words resounded before it vanished into thin air. I squeezed my eyes shut and opened them to a new world, where there were no traces of my past, where I could simply let it go. This next poem is dedicated to the people who are so engrossed in their daily routine that they barely find time for themselves. The way I see it, this next poem that I'm about to read is about self love, which I think we all should have in order to love the other people in our lives. So, this poem is called Love After Love, and it's by Derek Walcott. So, here we go. The time will come when with elation you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at others' welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your work with us.